Welcome to Road America tonight as we are just jumping into the tail end of practice. Um, this is the first night of two races. So it's a doubleheader night. The first one here at Road America. Then the second one will be at Chicagoland. So right now we await some drivers already out on the track. Cade Cannon looks, unless he spins out in his opening, in his out lap, he will be posting our first lap. Of course, we ran here earlier in the preseason, and it was very tricky for some. Others dominant. One person that did dominate, as he'll be coming in the picture here. The last time we were here, the man that dominated this race is also the one that dominated Laguna Seca last week in Shane Har. Well, unfortunately though, Aaron Stanton was the one who ended up walking away with that after Shane Har penalized on pit road. Right now, we're just going to do away with the ticker for a minute. Your eyes. For those of you wondering, you can look down at the bottom and see who has posted the lap. Elijah Fisher has joined us. He was a little bit late. No harm, no foul, as there are still a few drivers. Not many on hand tonight, at least for the first race. Robert Wilhoit already off into the grass, kicking up some dust. Our track's already dirty as he is saluting the veterans here on Memorial Day. In that very stylish number 3 car. As right now, Cade Cannon, Shane Har, Jordan Jorno on the board. As Cannon's already around and into the wall. So the first lap for Cade Cannon will be a dud. Of course, you see some of the drivers with no time or is blank that have not started their lap. Others like Shane will be entering in the first sector here. As soon as it pops up, it's got to process everybody. Get a look on throughout the field. Elijah Fisher, the Jimmy John's Ford Mustang. He had a solid run here. The last time we were here, finished 4th. See, Shane Har's time appears on the bottom. And so far, Shane Har the fastest in the first 2 sectors. Stevie Henning Jr. Of course, he had a decent run at Laguna Seca. Walked away last week with a top 5 finish. Michael Boger, he's already spun it off into the wall. Aaron Stanton yet to post a time, yet to even enter. Jason Williams got some work to do. Missed last week. And he now was above the cut line coming into last week. Now he is on the outside looking in. We'll get the points here in a little while as Shane Hard now posts the time to beat at 2:13.445. Chris Lyotta in the 60. Gain some decent ground in his quest to try to make the playoffs. And after tonight will be 3 races. Again, doubleheader night tonight. There will be 2 separate broadcasts. And right now, Lyotta's time goes out of 2:17. Stephen Henning Jr. goes second on the board at a 2:16, 1:65. We'll go back to him for a minute. He comes into tonight with a little bit more breathing room than what he did walking in, as he comes into tonight plus 56, a whole race ahead on points. And he sits 6th in the standings. But one man tonight who has shown that he is by far one of the most consistent ones, as locks up the brakes, little hiccup, great throttle control. That would be the 43 of Mike Hauser. Comes into the night by calculations alone, 134 points above the cut line. He's been incredibly consistent, but still looking for that first win of the season, especially coming off of 2 wins in the preseason, but preseasons do not count towards the season stats. So right now, Mike Hauser officially looking his first win. Josh Henderson. A little bit of breathing room, but not near as much as what he wants. After rallying to a top 10 finish last week at Laguna Seca. Because a few lap times have been posted, so we'll see if it's enough to register on the ticker. There we go. And Henderson will shut it off 5 seconds off the pace. So that being said, we'll take that one off and run at the top of the board for the time being. Might take it a couple seconds to catch up with a few drivers still on track. AJ Thompson coming off of a good run in the ARCA series at Talladega. There's a little bit of issues, a little bit of some internet problems for AJ Thompson. We'll try to get back with him in a minute. Of course, the other driver coming into tonight, who is right now comfortably in the playoffs with 2 wins for right now, Elijah Fisher. He's been solid. He had a good car at Laguna Seca, but unfortunately it just didn't pan out in the finish he wanted. But did walk away with a top 5 through it all. Looks to capitalize on that tonight. And with a minute 14, let's go ahead and get the pole sitter in here. Well, for right now, he's the pole sitter. All right, he won't come to me, so I'll come to him. Shane Hard, you got a copy? And he is... Okay, so he is AFK for the moment. We'll get back with him in a minute here. Let's see, who can we talk to? Actually, I know who to get in here. Mike Hauser, Garrett Jenkins got a copy.
10-4, Garrett, I got you.
Well, buddy, you showed that you had the qualifying pace last week. Unfortunately, the win didn't pan out. Are you looking to try to rewrite the record books from last week and get your first win and your first road course win?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. Usually we qualify really well, and we have good race pace, but you usually don't have anything for Shane, so I didn't really know we were going to stack up, but that's kind of the goal today. I'm glad I'm starting behind him. I maybe kind of learned some stuff. The car felt a little bit different from practice, and I'm not going to lie, I messed up a little bit there, so but all in all, still a really good lap, so I think we'll be really good heading into the race here. Just got to pace ourselves and hopefully be there at the end.
All right, buddy. Best of luck to you. Mike Hauser just now in. Qualifying's over. He will roll off third here tonight. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, while we wait on that, a few notable drivers who did not post a lap. We'll get the results from there here in a minute. Aaron Stanton, I believe he is one of them. Cade Cannon will start second. He is looking for his first win. I don't know why that's up. But Cade Cannon looking for his first win here in the Inspired Cup Series. Of course, the winner a couple weeks ago at Phoenix. Let's see if we can't get a word with him as soon as we get done with our pre-race information from Race Control. All right, everybody, welcome to Road America. This is the first of two races tonight. You get 3 sets of tires, 2 in the pits, 1 on the car. 25 laps tonight. Should be a quick one. Pace car speed limit 60, pit road speed limit 45. There is a 28 incident points, not 44, 28. So keep that in mind, and 1 fast repair. Good luck, everybody.
Mic check.
We'll get a look at the starting grid for tonight. For tonight's race at Road America. Of course, this is the first one of 2 tonight. Chicagoland is after this one. Shane Harr on pole. Cade Cannon in second. Mike Hauser, just spoke to him. He'll roll off third. Stephen Henning Jr. in fourth. Chris Lyotta rounds out the top 5. Josh Henderson in 6th. Elijah Fisher 7th. And A.J. Thompson is the last one to post a time in 8th. Aaron Stanton, Jason Williams, Jordan Jorno all rolls off 9th through 11th. And with no time posted. So some work cut out for him. Let's see if we can now get a hold of the pole sitter, Shane Harr. Shane Harr, Garrett Jenkins got a copy.
I do, Garrett. How are we doing tonight?
Well, we're doing this a second attempt of trying to get a hold of you tonight, but nonetheless, that doesn't matter.
Sorry about that.
That doesn't.
I must have stepped away.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that doesn't matter. Buddy, you're coming in 4 wins of the season, arguably after these 2 races, you are officially locked in to a playoff berth with 3 races after tonight's 2. How do you feel? Do you feel like you can get the job done like Laguna Seca? Where's the mentality at as we itch closer to the playoffs?
Yeah, I like the mentality here. I think we're just gonna push, and hopefully we get a green flag race like we had last week, and we can kind of do the same thing again. The track temp is fairly similar to last week, so I know the setup's a lot better on this track than the Cup car felt at Laguna Seca, so I think it'll be a fun race. Stay out of trouble, and hopefully we can add another win to the column.
All right, buddy, we hope so too. Best of luck to you. Shane Harr rolls off from the pole. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Garrett.
Well, with that being said, we'll take this moment, just a brief moment. I did it Monday night or Saturday night for the ARCA race. I'll do it again. This will be a brief moment of silence in honor of the veterans who gave their lives for us. So just a moment of silence from the broadcast table. Thank you for that. See if we can't get a couple more drivers in here. Let's talk to the man who right now got a little bit of pressure off of him, but not by much. Josh Henderson, Garrett Jenkins, got a copy.
I do, yes sir. How you doing?
All right, well, buddy, even though it was a frustrating week last week, you managed to build not a big gap, but bigger than what you had after last week. Coming into the night, 13 points to the good is what's the plan for tonight? Try to survive and try to maximize all points at Chicagoland.
Yeah, well, first off, we'll survive here at Road America, right? Messed up my good qualifying lap, and then the second one just decided to keep it on track, right? So didn't get a great lap, but I know a lot of guys, they're going to start behind me here. I know a lot of guys are hungry. They're behind me in points, and they're trying to reel me in. Jordan's been fast the last few weeks. Based off the conversation we've had in Team Chat, is he's just going to try to survive this first one as well. He's not as big of a fan of Road America as maybe some of those other ones. So, yeah, we'll survive this, and then we'll get after it at Chicagoland. Should be a good race. But let's hope we keep our head on straight for Road America first.
All right, buddy. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, sir.
Best of luck to
Have
you
a good
tonight.
one.
Yep. Josh Anderson rolls off 6th, I believe. Give me information on that. Well, I've already brought up points about 5 times
Sure.
tonight.
I technically left my lap. I'll take it.
I've brought
I
up
don't think
points
it's
about 5 times tonight, so I'll go ahead and pull up the point standings
It'll be
coming
the
into
one lap that
tonight.
Shane doesn't lead.
You heard it at the top of the broadcast. Shane Hard locked in pretty much by virtue of his 4 wins. Elijah Fisher, Darren Stanton still safe, but they can still be knocked out just as easily as they are in right now. And then
I should probably look at that.
Mike Hauser comes in 134 points to the good. Kay Cannon 73, and Steven Hitting 56 points to the good tonight. That is them are the ones that have a lot of breathing room over the next 3 weeks, to say the least. And then, but here's where it gets stressful. Just talk to him. Josh Henderson comes into the night plus 13 points to the good. So it has to be
Love you, brother.
it has to be a good night for the driver of the 72 in both races. And then, of course, Brent Hammerhand comes in 8th and holds the last spot to the playoff. Cameron Winsberg is not here tonight, so he will drop from 9th. Jason Williams comes in 10th, 14 out. Some work to do for a driver to 40, and then the Chris Lauda's in the same boat him. Then the long shot who made a lot of ground last week, Jordan Jorno, comes in 35 points out. Still the long shot, but has a great chance tonight. With that being said, coming up to the start here momentarily, I should say. Get one more interview in.
Hey, AJ, you are bugging out crazily.
Elijah
Thank you.
Fisher, Garrett Jenkins got a copy.
Never mind.
Yes, I do.
Buddy, little disappointing last week. I know for you had a great car at Road America, then a couple mishaps. Does that play into tonight, or like how do you approach tonight versus last week?
AJ wants an EOL. He's so bad.
I'll let you handle that real quick.
AJ wants an
ADOL
EOL.
for the 18 card sounded like.
Please and thank you. I have to.
All right.
Anyway, I don't know. We feel like we're in a new mindset, kind of just gonna go into these races with a different approach and different mindset. You know, we're getting close enough to playoff time at this point where I just want to be able to get some decent finishes, and we'll worry about everything once, you know, playoffs really hit. But just trying to remember at the end of the day, it's racing, and you know, I need to tone it down out there for sure, and just try to stay out of incidents and try to finish these races off better than what we have been.
All right, buddy. Best of luck to you tonight. Look forward to seeing how that goes for both races tonight. Elijah Fisher rolling off about mid-pack. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you.
With that being said, we're coming up for the start. 25 laps, should be a quick one. Hopefully, as long as cautions do not rear their ugly head. We're rolling. Shane Hard, Cade Cannon brings them down.
Jared, check that.
I'm told to check the start real quick as Cade Cannon takes the green flag, and let me ask. Okay, just look at it. Go ahead and take a look at the restart real fast. Race control. This will be a warning to all drivers. Please maintain a half a car length or closer on the starts of the race and every restart. Thank you. All right. Oh, Shane Hall's already in the gravel early. Saves it. Cannon holds on. Mike Hauser looks to capitalize. Right on board now with Cade Cannon. This will be the second to last road course that we have this season. As you see, Cannon down through the high speed end of the racetrack. Shane Harr all over his back bumper already. He opens the door for him. We do have one around. We do have one around, and trying to get the replay on it. What happens here? Does involve Jason Williams winning the playoff Hofra and AJ. AJ Thompson gets into the back, misjudges it because it is only a one-car incident. We stay green. Shane Harr has took over the lead. Cannon in hot pursuit. Mike Hauser laying back there in wait. Of course, Shane Hard led just about every lap. I actually believe he did lead every lap last week at Laguna Seca. En route to his fourth win of the season. He's trying to do the same tonight and get win number 5 as they go up the hill. Jason Williams is in the pits. For that overlay. Really, I ain't going to switch it for that one overlay. Right now, Har leads. Cannon, Fisher, Hauser, and Stanton. That is the top 5. See a little side-by-side action back there for the fourth position. As Stanton's loose!
Complete accidental exit.
And that causes they keep it straight for the most part. We stay green, but that'll hurt the efforts of the 4 so far tonight, as Stan simply just locks the brake up. A lot of drivers locking the brakes up now, but it's already starting to become a wild night here in Road America. Right now, Shane Harr has opened up the gap to 1 second over Cade Cannon and Mike Hauser. going back through the field. Chris Lyotta is running 5th as he goes wide and hands it over to Elijah Fisher, as this right here will focus on this group of cars right here as they go down the high-speed section of the racetrack, down into turn 12 and 13. See Lyotta now starting to lose a couple of spots. Michael Boger, ain't seen him in a while. He is oh!
Sorry, Robert.
Don't know what happened there.
Oh, you're good. I was too hot. I was just trying to stay off.
Look back at this incident here.
That's not too bad, though.
Net code. And it does only involve one car, so Chris Lyotta will not be a caution for that.
My God, I'm.
Now we have another one around. And that would be the 95 of Hammerhand. Creeping into the pit, so already tonight, drivers looking to get into the playoffs around or below that bubble have already ran into issues. The 40 of Jason Williams, now Brent Hammerhand, Chris Lyotta. This was the wild card coming into tonight again. We do have another race, and it will be a separate broadcast after this one. Right now, Shane Harr still leads Mike Hauser, Cade Cannon. Stephen Henning Jr. has worked himself into 4th. And Elijah Fisher back up into 5th, but he's got Aaron Stanton behind him. Stanton now goes wide. That'll open up the door for him and Michael Boger to now battle for the 6th position. And Michael Boger does get away for the foreseeable future, but right now Aaron Stanton trying to take back that 6th spot. You see they go through the, of course, it's a heavy braking zone right here, that high speed section, and Stanton completes the move and will slide back into the 6th spot. Right now Shane Harr has opened up a 3.3 second lead over Mike Hauser. We'll run through the field momentarily. You see there's Mike Hauser, Cade Cannon about 1.5 behind him. Of course, Mike Hauser, the safest one on points by anybody. Him and Cade Cannon both. Then we go on back through the field. Stephen Henning, the next one that is foreseeably safe on points, comes into the night plus 40. Not plus 43, plus 53. Elijah Fisher, of course, his 2 wins so far have birthed him a playoff spot for the moment. Aaron Stanton in the same boat, but as I look at the standings, if Stephen Henning manages to win his 2nd race of the season by points, if he has the most points ahead of Aaron Stanton, then that will knock Aaron out of his 3rd spot. Interesting to see. Michael Boger again hasn't been with us here in a few weeks. Work-related issues, I can imagine, or something else out of his control, but great to see him back tonight running in 7th. Josh Henderson, another one of them, the hopefuls trying to get into tonight. And then Jordan Jorno, lastly, the long shot so far, but made significant ground at Laguna Seca, right now running 9th. He is putting all his chips into Chicago land following the conclusion of this race. And then right now, as you can see where your favorite manufacturer see where your favorite manufacturer is running. Got his Toyota, Ford, and Chevrolet the top 3, followed by the 2 Fords of Henning and Fisher in the top 5. You see Shane Har putting the 95 1 lap down.
Crazy, Elijah, that we're both losing time. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, now with 21 to go, it's still very much Shane Har's race to lose. But still a long way to go here. Get on back deeper into the field. Chris Lyotta, after his spin earlier in the race, right now running 10th. AJ Thompson 11th. See the Miami Dolphins car's already got a little bit of damage. 290, he goes a little bit off the track. No harm, no foul. Bobby Hadaway in the Miller Highlight car, one of my favorite beverages, but that's not to be discussed right now. Behind him, one of them that needed a good run tonight, Jason Williams, or right now running 13th. He's got Robert Wilhoit behind him, which will soon be the battle for 13th. But right now, Jason Williams needs a lot to go right tonight to stay in the playoff picture. And that is through the field. Still, you see the distance, 4.6 back there to Mike Hauser from Shane Har. Of course, no surprise you see Shane Har out front on a road course tonight. It's been fast on every road course. Firmly, I'm pretty sure everybody thought at Daytona, the second race of the season, at the Daytona road course, he was going to win it. Miscue on the last lap. Handed it over to the man running in 4th right now, Stephen Henning. Who again, if he is to win, if he wins before Aaron Stanton gets another win, depending on how the points look coming out of that race, he could easily knock Aaron Stanton out of the top 3 provisionals on wins by points alone. I don't think Steven's really worried about that. Steven knows that he is capable of making the playoffs. He comes in a whole race ahead as Elijah Fisher has entered the pits, and for that reason alone, we'll switch to the old style of NASCAR for some of the fans that were around in the 2000s that remember this particular scoring monitor going across the top of the screen. Try to switch between the two. All right, now everybody's pretty much spread out to a degree. So it can be difficult trying to find the battles on pit road, but there's plenty of storylines going in as AJ Thompson is spun into the gravel. As Elijah Fisher comes out of the pits now, he has scored 10th. As Josh Henderson, Henderson into the tire barriers. It looks like that car is having difficulty turning, so. And it is. Josh Henderson is going to have to come into the pits here for damage. So again, drivers just trying to make it in. Trying to survive Road America, and right now, it just isn't playing nice if you're one of them hopefully see Jorno off into the gravel. Because of that incident with Henderson, Jorno now up to 7th. All All right, now it's Shane Hart, a running order. Mike Hauser, Kay Cannon, Stephen Henning, Jr., and Aaron Stanton. That is your top 5. Michael Boger, Jordan Jorno, Chris Lyota is off track. As the second incident for the night for the driver to 60, the first one not of his own doing. But certainly a rough night.
Dun, dun.
But because of that incident, Henderson drops to 9th. Lyota right now will probably take over 9th. I don't know. We'll see here in a moment. Actually, it's coming across the top of the screen right now. So Jorno takes over 7th. Lyota 8th. Henderson 9th, but in the pits. And I imagine Elijah Fisher will take over that 9th spot. And we'll just have to see where Josh Henderson comes out, and there he is. So Henderson will fall comfortably into the 10th position. As far as being comfortable, the only man right now who can say that he is on a Sunday drive comfortable is Shane Har with a 6.9 second lead over Mike Hauser. And what does, for some of y'all that do wonder, what does a almost 7-second lead look like? Shane Har's the circle, the green circle indicating that he is the leader. And then back there you have Mike Hauser and Kay Cannon. So that is what about 6.8, nearly 7-second lead looks like, as we will jump back there to these two, as Cannon's now within, trying to get within striking distance. Of course, Mike Hauser said, you know, set on pole last week, but then had to settle for a top 5 finish. It kind of ate at him, but right now he's about probably one of the most comfortable drivers going into these next 3 races after tonight. So I think right now all Mike Hauser wants to do is just show that he can win on Inspired Racing League's highest level. He's been there a few times. Like I said earlier, the preseason, 2 wins during the preseason, but sadly they do not go on the record board.
Stop spitting out rocks on my damn hood.
We apologize
They're
for
all
the,
over the track.
we apologize for the language there. Meanwhile, Kay Cannon is trying his hardest to get to Mike Hauser, as have one car, Bobby Hadaway, off into the gravel, and that will actually hinder the progression for the 9th for the time being. Of course, Kay Cannon got a win a couple weeks ago in ARCA at Phoenix after a very dramatic last lap between Fisher and Colton Ward that enabled Cannon, who was the dominant car of the night that night. But still, one of them searching for his first win, like the man in front of him, Mike Hauser. And we're going to take a minute. We're going to ride on board with Kay Cannon and listen to how he works the throttle through this first section of the racetrack down into turn 1. You can hear through the tricky parts of the track. I believe they're the most tricky is that infield area. Very easy on the throttle, not pushing the issue or anything like that. Really trying to save the tires, what I believe he's really trying to do. That being said, we will look at the pit strategy reports so far. As you see right now, the top 7 drivers have not made a pit stop. They're on an 8-lap stint. Elijah Fisher came in. He is on a 3-lap stint that is highlighted in blue with the 3 in the middle, and then 9th through 11th all on the same strategy. A few other drivers, mainly 12th through 15th, they've all pitted mainly due to issues that's happened so far through the night. But right now it's going to be interesting to see the strategy call that the 4 of Elijah Fisher made. Right now running in 8th, as there he is. As he is in the gravel. Nice save though for the driver of the 4. But back to what I was just saying, as he is over a minute 12 seconds back of the leader. If this strategy call is going to
Thanks, Bobby.
pay dividends or
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, man.
it's just going to be interesting to see. That's what I'm trying to get out.
Come near right, Robert.
See Jason Williams back there. He is 1 lap down in 13th, hoping that Chicagoland will go better tonight than what Road America is. Meanwhile, there's the leader, Shane Harr, with a 9.5 second lead over Mike Hauser. Eerily similar to how last week went. But meanwhile, let's see the first and second with some traffic. Robert Wilhoit, a lap car, kind of benefits the driver of the 43 as that gap opens up to about 1.5 seconds. Right on board with Mike Hauser. We'll see how he handles the long part of the straightaway. You see the stat for Mike Hauser again, 4th in points, comes into the night 134 over Josh Henderson in the cut line. So, a lot of work. Been a season of nothing but straight consistency for the driver of the 43. And he looks to continue that, and that very well, even though he does not have that one elusive win. It could very easily take him deep into the playoffs. Behind him, the man that comes in 5th in points tonight. 73 to the good. Would be the driver that he is currently being ran down by, and that would be Cade Cannon. And Cade, like Mike's, been very consistent. It was a rough start. The first 3 or 4 races to start the year was a little rough of a start, but since then he has put together a string of great finishes that has enabled him to be in the position that he is in. Of course, coming off of the Phoenix win and finished 2nd to Justin Millicar and ARCA at Talladega by the narrowest of margins. And it's just Cade riding that momentum that has gotten him into the position he's in. But still, A lot can change. I see a little bit of a lag issue on the part of the 9. But a lot can change for the driver on the 9, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can still make the playoffs, but I have no doubt he can. On further down to the field, we're actually going to do another through the field. You see Aaron Stanton in 4-2 wins this season, holds the 3rd spot in points. Steven Henning has dropped back 1 spot from where he started, which was 4th. He runs 5th. Jordan Jorno has climbed his way into 6th, the man on the mission, trying to earn his spot into the playoffs. Behind him, Michael Boger, an impressive run so far. Running 7th, Elijah Fisher, who pitted on what I can assume is a strategy call. He runs 8th. See right behind him, Josh Henderson, who was sideways off the corner, is running 9th. And then the driver that holds the top 10 spot, Chris Lyota, who's had a little bit of a struggle tonight, as has many drivers. Then on down through the field, the last Jordan Jorno will be in this time by. So perhaps we're seeing the number 14 to go. You get a look at the Miami Dolphin as he locks up the brakes, back into the gravel trap. And Shane Harr's off course. Recovers nicely, but a scare for the leader. Anyway, as we continue to go back through the field, Robert Wilhoit drifting it through the corner. He is running 12th. Brent Hammerhand, one of the drivers trying to make it into the show, the playoffs, that would be. And Jason Williams behind him, 13th and 14th. This would actually be the battle for 14th, or 13th, I should say. Of course, Hammerhand had issues earlier in the race, had to pit.
I don't know why I thought you said shut up, Shane. I was like, what the heck did he even do? He didn't even say it.
And then, of course, the driver in 15th right now, Bobby Hadaway. Right is through the field again as still Shane Harr leads. Actually, I'm right on board with Shane Harr here in a minute. See, a few drivers are in the pit, so we will switch in. That is actually 3rd and 4th. Mike Hauser and Aaron Stanton and Steven Henning all in the pits. So we're right on board with Shane Harr. Just wonder, is the driver at 21 trying to save fuel, make it all the way to the end? Doesn't sound like it. So right now with the top 5, most of the top 5 pitting, Kane Kennett has reassumed 2nd position. Michael Boger has jumped up 10 spots due to the pit stops. He now runs 3rd. Mike Hauser has rejoined. He is back on track. He'll come in.
Guys, I did realize our next session might be cutting close, so obviously, like, if this race doesn't finish up in time, I'll just make a new one.
So Mike Hauser drops back 2 spots off the pit stop in the 4th.
Coming to your right. Thank you.
And then you see Aaron Stanton.
I think he'll be pitting this time.
21.
As though you heard over the radio, Shane Harr will be in this time.
20 pitting.
So perhaps this is just a one-stop race. Or perhaps it's a one-start race, but you got to save a little bit or try to make it to the end with 13 laps to go. We'll be coming to 12 this time. Of course, what cost Shane Hart this race in the preseason was speeding in the pits, so we're going to see if he's perhaps learned from that mistake. I keep hearing it ringing. I don't know what it is. And Cade Cannon will be joining him in as well. And Michael Boger goes off course, and I was about to say if he stays out, he could take the lead. Wheeling it still. And Michael Boger. So Michael Boger will not stay out this time. And Mike Hauser now. Oh, this is going to be great. Shane Hart rolling off the pits. This could be the race for the win right here. Shane Hart, can't see him off screen yet. He does get out ahead in front of Mike Hauser. So Shane Hart back out in front. Mike Hauser in hot pursuit, 2.7 seconds back. Aaron Stanton runs 7 seconds behind them, almost 8 in third. Cade Cannon comes back out on to the track after his pit stop in fourth. And Elijah Fisher with his strategy call, or his pit strategy type of deal. He will, I believe he's unofficially going to be in sixth. Of course, back there, Stephen Henning in seventh. Josh Henderson in eighth. After the pit stops, Jordan Jorno has fell back to ninth. Of course, in Jorno has been another one of them. He has shown great speed, but it just races has not failed his way. There's a few races where he could have and should have won, but cautions and mistakes now has him on the outside looking in, but he has gained a massive amount of points. Came in minus 56 in Laguna Seca, and then walks out of there and comes into the ninth. Out by 35. So there is absolutely no quit for the driver of the 84 High Rock Vodka. With pit stops underway, or at least done for the most part. Robert Wilhoit back in the pits. Still all Shane Hart, who's now opened up the lead to 3.7 over Mike Hauser. Then with 11 to go, still anything can happen. It is never over until it's over. Pretty sure all these drivers know that. And Bobby Hadaway, black flag.
Thanks, Bobby. No problem.
So the driver of the 52 will have to come in and serve a penalty, and Robert Wilhoit also black flag as he just exit the pits.
Bobby, you're supposed to Ricky Bobby them.
And we got one car that went way off track. Bobby Hadaway. Just as the exit of the camera, but now you look at the lap times. Well, this was before the pit stop, but For the pit stop, Shane Har faster than Mike Hauser, but really, based off times past and road courses are concerned, one mistake can really,
Sorry, Jordan.
as we haven't,
You're good, man. I have problems in that corner too. It's all good.
as I was saying before the radio chatter, one mistake can end your night about as fast as it can stop you from winning. So right now, not over to us over Shane Har. Coming to 10 to go. Try to find some battles going on. Oh, here's a good battle right here. Elijah Fisher trying to hold on to 6 from Josh Henderson. Right on board with Henderson. And see if he'll make the driver to 4 make a mistake. I see the 4's a little loose. Driving that car for everything that it's worth. And Henderson, a big charge into the final corner. It'll be turn 14. They're going to go uphill down the front straightaway.
40's hitting just herself.
Jason Williams is in this time. Lee Harrison took the lower line. I don't know if he thought he was going to get a run or if it was just to get a better exit off. Right now, it does not appear to have been helping much as Fisher gains. As Fisher blows the corner. Elijah Fisher blows turn 3, and that will give 6 to Josh Henderson. And now Fisher loses 7th to Michael Boger. Well, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. Goes back to what I said earlier in the race. One mistake can cost you a lot. You see. And now Fisher's just trying to make up time now. And in his mirror is the man trying to gain the most points out of anybody. I know I just talked about him a minute ago, but Jordan Jorno trying to recover. Meanwhile, Shane Har still out in front. He's got a 7.9 second lead over Mike Hauser. You can get a look at a few cars through the field. There's the gap from Hauser to Stanton. And since the pit stop, and you can see that Stanton and Hauser's trying to been trading back and forth. Hauser can be faster
Thank you
for
again, Bobby.
Hauser can be faster for 1 or 2 laps and then give it up to Stanton. So right now, and these two put on an incredible battle last weekend, Laguna Seca, for what felt like pretty much the whole race. It's going to be interesting to see if Aaron Stanton can, as Bobby Hadaway goes off track ahead of them. It's going to be interesting to see if Stanton can catch the 43 of Mike Hauser. Well, the pit stop's underway. I believe we can switch back to this one as we come to 9 laps to go. She's right on board with the Gatorade Zero. But Aaron Stanton kind of got caught up a little bit behind Hadaway. On further back, Michael Boger has caught up to Josh Henderson after both of them capitalized on Elijah Fisher's mistake about a lap or so ago. As you see, Boger now overtakes Henderson and Boger up to 6th. Little wide through the corner, but no harm, no foul. As you see, Jordan Jorno back there has gotten around Elijah Fisher. So the driver to 4 is struggling late in the race. Of course, he was one of them that had a try to make a strategy call as you look now. Josh Henderson's the only driver so far who has not pitted. Everybody else has just pitted other than Elijah Fisher. Other than Elijah Fisher, who's on an 11-lap stint, and I am not sure if he'll be able to make it himself. Going to be interesting to see. One thing I love about races is a great pit strategy. Drivers taking the gamble. Of course, no cautions tonight. Well, at least for this one. But there will be cautions for Chicagoland. And the road courses after for some of the people who don't remember Sonoma, there was a big debate over the cautions with Sonoma. It was eventually made a rule that there's a wreck that involves 3 cars or more.
Well, Mike.
See, standing over the radio. There's 3 cars involved in a wreck on a road course that we would definitely throw the caution. 2 more is up to race controls and discretion. Obviously, a 1-car wreck just isn't happening. As here's the battle that I've been waiting for. Hauser and Stanton. The rematch from Laguna Seca, and Stanton with ease around Mike Hauser. See Hauser now hard. Drove in extremely hard to try to get to the back of Stanton. So that is the battle for second. As right now Shane Harsh checked out. Unless something big happens, I'm adamant that Shane Harsh got this one wrapped up.
Can we inspect Shane's car for jet fuel, please?
On back behind them, K. Cannon running in fourth.
Damn car.
And Stephen Henning holding off.
I don't have a roll bar. I took it off.
Right.
Those are some really accurately painted coolness.
Lord have mercy. Anyway, we're just going to sit and focus in on this battle like we did last week. Because right now, Hauser now looking to try to get around Stanton again for second. Stanton fends him off. For the foreseeable future, Elijah Fisher back in the pits. It's been a rough day for the driver of the 4. And he'll look to rebound after this race for Chicagoland, which should be a little more action filled, to say the least.
Thanks, Bobby.
Still right on board with Aaron Stanton, who was trying to open up that gap to Mike Hauser. Hauser each time through this particular section of the track just does not allow him to get away. See, Stanton dipped the rear tire off into the gravel. It's going to hurt just a little bit. AJ Thompson has retired from the race.
Alright, I've gone ahead and pushed back our next session 10 minutes.
We'll try to get a word with AJ Thompson here. AJ Thompson, Gary Jenkins got a copy.
Yep.
And AJ Thompson. One more time.
Shane, just start cutting the corners.
AJ, you got a copy, buddy?
Thanks, Bobby.
Don't believe I can hear you. AJ, I'll try you back here in a little bit, buddy. Can't really hear you. Well, that being said, we'll try to get a word with him. Think he's having mic issues as the battle for second rages on. As now, oh, a little bit of contact to the back bumper to 43. Oh, both drivers a little loose.
Well, thanks, Steven.
And we'll try to get a word with AJ here in a little bit again. Yeah, that's the thing with road courses, though. Look, just try to find the good battles. Here's one right here. Boger and Henning. This is the battle for the top 5 in 5th. Of course, Michael Boger like I've said, been gone a 2 or 3, 4 weeks. Trying to put on a comeback, and he is doing just that as he is around Stephen Henning. Horace Henning comes in, 53 points to the good. Well, meanwhile, Shane Harr has lapped the 4, and potential championship rival Elijah Fisher. As we come to 5 laps to go here from Road America, and then we are going to jump ship and go straight to Chicagoland for what should be one of the best races. If it does anything like the last few Kansas races has, you're not going to want to miss Chicagoland. 134 laps. June 9th, we go to Indianapolis. That'll be, that should be next week, but either way, June 9th will be the Indianapolis, then the final road course of the season. Bathurst, 35 laps. And then the regular season finale, where it will be, where they're projected to be, 2 drivers will lock themselves into the playoffs, and about 3 or 4 more will leave Daytona on June 23rd thinking what could have been. And that is going to be a long race. The full 400 miles that is Daytona. And that is one you're not going to want to miss. And then from there on, the playoffs will begin at Darlington June 30th. And then they'll go to Atlanta, Legacy Atlanta, not the Super Speedway. Followed by Bristol, North Wilkesboro, New Hampshire, and Charlotte. That is July 14th, 21st, 28th, and August 4th. Where then the 4 drivers in the playoffs, the highest 4, I should say, point wise, they will be a part of the Final 4 in Miami, August 11th. 150 laps to crown the first ever Inspired Racing League champion. And if it's anything that we're seeing now, the prime candidate to be in the Final 4, you're looking at him as Shane Harr, a little bit into the grass. Little wide again as Fisher now. Side by side, Fisher trying to get his lap back. Harr not allowing it. Down through one of the long straightaways that this track has, and Harr fends him off. But Shane Hart, if he holds on for 4 more laps, it will be win number 5 of the year as he is loose. In the gravel, Hart, or Fisher gets his lap back, and Shane Hart that close to losing that 12-second lead. Meanwhile, the gap from Stanton and Hauser has stretched significantly. And on back through the field, check in with Michael Boger and Stephen Henning. Henning has made the pass around Boger. We'll see how Boger responds. Of course, this is the battle for the top 5. Stephen Henning, last Saturday at Talladega, went for one of the wildest rides that I can remember. I believe he finished 13th, 2 laps down, after what was a strong car for all the Fords Saturday at Talladega in the ARCA Series. Of course, Justin Miller car edging out this man, Cade Cannon. I believe the final score was 0.14 of a second. One of the closest finishes I've ever seen. All right, now Cade Cannon having a
When I was locking up there.
decent run as
I'll go, boo.
focus back to the battle at hand. Well, the gap has opened up just a little bit as Stephen Henning now holds about a second lead over Michael Boger with 3 to go. Shane Hart just trying to keep it cool. Aaron Stanton has actually cut into this lead just a little bit. It is now 8.5 seconds. Is the driver to 27 coming? Of course, Aaron Stanton, one of them that did not post a time. He is actually tied with the Inspire's biggest movers of the race. Him and Michael Boger, neither one posted a time for qualifying. Boger and Stanton up 7 positions from their starting spots. And right now, Stanton trying to cut into the lead. You see it now starting to evaporate just a little bit. Brent Hammerhand. Not the night that he was hoping to have, but he still got one more race again, Chicagoland. Following the conclusion of this one, it is our doubleheader night. But Brent Hammerhand came into the night as the gatekeeper, holding that final playoff spot. But right now, that's stated, not the night he's going. But as far as the drivers he is racing that are below him, the only one ahead of him is Chris Lyotta in 9th. Jason Williams in 13th. Jordan Jorno, well, actually, I take that back. Jordan Jorno in 7th. So, really, the driver to 95, banking that Chicagoland goes better than what Road America has. But I talked to him earlier before the broadcast even started. He said he ain't worried about it. He's confident that he can make it into the playoffs. There's no pressure on the shoulders of this number 95. But we will see as, the races tick away. This will be 2 tonight. Then there's only 3 left before we start the playoffs. Josh Henderson, another one of them hopefuls, comes into the night plus 13. And right now, it's hard to say if he's on track to expanding that gap or not, as we do not have the points as they run. Don't have that kind of technology yet. not for iRacing standpoints. Giorno, 7th. Finished 6th last week at Laguna Seca, and it was enough to cut deep into the points. So we're going to see how a 7th place run, unless something happens to him and he loses spots or anything happens to any of the 6 in front of him. As we look back in at the battle between Boger and Henning. Side by side down into what appears to be turn 5. It's been tricky. Boger little sideways, straightens it back up and gives the 5th position back to Henning. Brent Hammerhand, a black flag. He has exceeded the incident points of 28. So he'll either be a drive-through or a hold for the driver to 95. You see Henning now starting to open up.
To get out of your way.
So with Stephen Henning opening up the gap on Michael Boger, return back to this man, Shane Har, 8-second lead over Aaron Stanton. Man, if he can hang on as he now goes down to the first long straightaway, or the second, I should say, if you count the front straightaway. The second long straightaway down into turns 4 and 5. Shane Hard has been another dominant performance if he can close it out. He's still got over half the track to go. But he will be going, if he can hold on to that, he'll be going back to back and potentially be the first driver and inspired to make a three-peat as he'll look. After this race, he'll look towards Chicagoland in about, give or take, 30 minutes after this. As Robert Wilhoit has spun in turn 1. He gets the bat rolling. And Wilhoit has also exceeded the limits, as Brent Hammerhand has, so scoring will have to be adjusted depending on where iRacing places him. But down through the 3rd high-speed section of this racetrack, going into turn 12, from there he has 13 and 14. And Aaron Stanton has cut into 5 seconds. It was 8, but unfortunately Aaron Stanton will run out of time.
Good one, Shane.
Out of turn 14,
Thanks, man.
it will be
Good one, Shane.
win number 5 of the season. He'll look to make it 6 later tonight. Shane Har wins at Road America.
Hell of a battle there, and that was really fun there at the end. Great racing, guys. You guys already done?
Oh, and they're wrecking at the line.
Yeah,
The
they just
car's destroyed.
Mike, get back here.
Not sure what happened there,
Oh my
but it,
God.
regardless, Shane Har, the car's destroyed.
Good win, Shane.
We'll go ahead and get a word with him.
That's so funny. I can't even do a burnout now. Get back here.
Did you run out of gas?
Shane Har, but you're tearing up the car, man. It's got to get to victory lane.
Still listed. I don't think I got her. I left run on her anymore, do I?
Garrett, you should probably start interviews now so you can.
That's what I'm doing. Shane Har, dominant performance as everybody's trying to do burnouts. The top 3 is.
That was fun.
Tell me about it. Did you look to aim for Laguna Seca, or was tonight just a different mindset?
At the same time, because I couldn't get underneath.
It was a lot different today. It
I
seemed.
didn't really do much because
I don't know. The car felt
at
a
that
lot
point,
more
yeah,
in the
20
track than it did in
6
Laguna
seconds,
Seca. So
yeah.
that really helped. I noticed Aaron was catching me real quick at the end. So
Oh my God.
another couple laps, we might have had some problems.
Not my strong suit. Oh my goodness. Good race, guys.
Well, bam.
That was fun racing you earlier, Jordan.
I'm gonna ask you to repeat that
Good
because
win by Ricky.
chatter over the radio. Just kind of repeat everything you just said because I'm not sure the viewers were able to hear it.
Oh yeah, I just said it was a little different than Laguna Seca. The car felt more in the track today versus Laguna did. Other than that, it was still a save the tires there at the end. I think I burned him up. Aaron was really catching me, so I thought I'd play a little game with him at the end and really slow down just to mess with him a little bit. So a little funny games never hurt no one, right?
Great job, Chris. That was so
All right, buddy.
there's still people racing, but-
Well, I hope to talk to you at the end of it. Man, a little less driver chatter, but
Yeah, that was awesome.
hope to talk to you at the end of Chicagoland. Win number 5 of the season. Does it start from here? Or you just out for trophy hunting?
gonna be just friendly, stupid stuff. Okay, this isn't.
We're just trophy hunting now, so we're pretty much locked in the playoffs. So we can go out and experiment, and hopefully some things work out. And if they don't, it's not too big a deal.
I had to.
All right, buddy.
I don't
Shane
know if
Hart.
they gave me a penalty after that. I'm pretty
Sorry,
sure I
buddy.
got a-
Just chatter. Shane Har looks to go make it 3 wins in a row in about 30 minutes. So, best of luck. We'll hope to talk to you at the end of Chicagoland.
I was trying to run from you.
Appreciate you, Garrett.
and trying to get Josh. I got both, so I did my job.
All right, let's get Aaron Stanton in here. I got to figure out a way to cut the chatter. Aaron Stanton, Garrett Jenkins got a copy.
What's up, Garrett?
Well, second place run. I believe you bested Mike the second time. Was there anything you had for Shane at the end, or was it pretty much just try to defend the position from the 43?
I don't know if he was taking it easy, but I did gain like 5 seconds on him. But he was probably just taking it easy. He was lights out again. Him and road courses, man. You can't beat him.
And with that being said, I know I mentioned it to you a while back, and I know you said at the playoffs, it doesn't really matter if you make it or not, but I believe you opened the gap on Steven Hitting just a little bit, which, for those of you wondering if Hitting wins before Stanton does, it could potentially knock Stanton out of that third slot. But real fast, buddy, how do you shift from tonight and go to Chicagoland? Or two different road course, not road courses, but are two different tracks. Will Chicagoland be more your wheelhouse tonight?
Yeah, the momentum tracks are my bread and butter, so I'm excited for Chicagoland. Ran 0 practice, but I'll figure it out pretty quick.
All right, buddy. Well, best of luck to you. We'll see you in probably now. I've just been made aware probably about 7 minutes. So best of luck to you. I'm gonna get Mike Hauser in here, and we're gonna hopefully talk to you at the end of Chicagoland.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Mike Hauser, Garrett Jenkins got a copy.
10-4, Garrett, I got you.
Well, buddy, third, not bad. Was there anything that you had for Stanton or Shane at the end there?
I don't know. They were both very fast. Starting the race, like I said, I was taking it really easy. I was kind of staying with Shane, and he was obviously very fast. And I wanted to try to beat him to the pits, so I pitted a lap early, and I didn't really know it till a bit later, but I was really close on fuel. And, I caught up to Shane, and I thought I'd have a shot at him there, but he just kept, logging really fast laps, and Aaron eventually got to me, and I had an absolute blast racing them again. I love racing them at these road courses. But then I made a dumb mistake. I got distracted, and I drove off, and mistakes just kept piling on. But that's kind of what I noticed. I'm like, oh, I'm close on fuel, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise, because I'll definitely take a P3 over wherever I'd end up if I ran out of gas there at the end.
All right, buddy. Well, look, we're pressed on time. I know you got to catch your flight to Chicagoland. So hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of Chicagoland. Congratulations, you came into the night plus 134, and it would appear that you extend that gap after this race. Best of luck to you in Chicagoland.
Thank you, Garrett.
With that being said, I'll make this quick because I got to reset everything so I can get ready for the next race. Shane Harr, your winner tonight, win number 5 of the season. Aaron Stanton, second. Mike Hauser, third. Kay Cannon, fourth. Stephen Henning Jr. holds off Michael Boger to hold on to the 5th position. Michael Boger in 6th. Jorno, 7th. Lyota, 8th. Henderson, 9th. Elijah Fisher, tough. Race 1. He'll look to rebound at Chicagoland. But for tonight, he will come home 10th. Robert Wilhoit, Brent Hammerhand, 11th and 12th. Bobby Hadaway, Jason Williams, and A.J. Thompson round out your field. With that being said, consider this intermission, as we got a whole nother one to go. With that being said, I will see you guys in a few minutes. Shane Harr looks to go 3 in a row and win number 6 of the season. Will he get it? Come back in about 5 minutes.